The Musk Melon Fairy. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by golden wheat fields and lush orchards, there lived a kind little girl named Amina. She was known by everyone for her gentle heart and sparkling eyes. Every morning, she helped her grandmother water the garden and collect fruits to sell in the village market. Their garden was famous for growing the sweetest melons, especially the musk melons that had a golden glow and a fragrance that filled the air with magic. Amina's grandmother always told her, "These musk melons are special, my dear. They only grow with love and honesty." Amina believed her words deeply. She would talk to the plants, water them carefully, and sing soft songs to them. Every season the garden bloomed beautifully, and villagers came from far away just to taste their melons. One hot summer evening, after a long day of selling fruits, Amina and her grandmother returned home tired. The garden shimmered in the sunset light, and the musk melons looked like golden jewels. But as night fell, something strange happened. A soft breeze began to blow, carrying a faint melody. The leaves of the melon vines rustled gently, almost as if whispering secrets. Then, out of the moonlight appeared a small figure, glowing, graceful, and dressed in petals that looked like the inside of a melon. It was the Musk Melon Fairy. Her wings shimmered with silver dust, and her hair glowed like strands of honey. Amina gasped, but didn't feel afraid. The fairy smiled warmly and said in a sweet bell-like voice, "Amina, I have been watching you for a long time. You care for the earth, the plants, and every creature with so much love. I am the guardian spirit of these melons, and tonight I have come to give you a gift." Amina's eyes widened with wonder. "A gift? For me?" The fairy nodded. "Yes. You see, kindness never goes unseen. Tomorrow you will find a special melon in your garden, a golden one with silver lines. That melon will hold a secret. Treat it with the same love you show to every other fruit, and it will bring you happiness beyond what you can imagine." Before Amina could ask more, the fairy spread her wings, sprinkling silver dust that sparkled like stars, and disappeared into the night. The next morning, Amina ran to the garden. The sun had barely risen, but she was too excited to wait. And there, right in the middle of the vines, was a single golden melon glowing softly. She carefully picked it up and placed it in her basket. Her grandmother was astonished. "By the heavens, Amina! This melon looks like it's made of pure sunlight." Amina smiled and remembered the fairy's words. "Nani, let's not sell this one. I feel like it's special." Her grandmother agreed, and they placed the melon on a small wooden shelf near the window. The day passed peacefully, but at midnight, something magical happened again. The melon began to glow, and soft music filled the little house. Amina woke up and gasped. The golden melon slowly cracked open, and out stepped a tiny fairy, the same one from the garden. "Fairy, you're real," Amina whispered in amazement. The fairy laughed softly. "Yes, Amina, and now my gift begins. You have proven that love and care can make miracles bloom. Because of your kindness, I will bless your garden so that it never runs dry. No matter the season, your melons will grow sweeter and brighter, and your heart will always find joy." Amina's eyes shone with tears of happiness. "Thank you, fairy, but may I ask something?" The fairy smiled and replied, "Because true care is rare, child. Many people plant seeds for profit, not love. But you, Amina, planted for happiness. You gave without expecting anything back. And so the world has decided to give you something in return." With that, the fairy fluttered her wings and vanished once more, leaving behind trails of silver light. From that day onward, Amina's garden truly became magical. The vines grew faster, the flowers bloomed brighter, and the musk melons had the sweetest fragrance anyone had ever known. People came from faraway lands to taste them, calling them golden blessings, but Amina never let pride grow in her heart. She always sold her melons at fair prices and gave free fruit to poor families. One year, a greedy merchant from the nearby town heard of Amina's garden. He thought, "If I can get the secret of her melons, I'll become rich." So he disguised himself as a traveler and came to the village. He praised Amina's garden and said, "Little girl, your melons are the finest I've ever seen. Please, sell me your seeds so I may plant them in my own fields." Amina smiled politely. "Sir, these melons grow with care and love. They are not just ordinary seeds." The man laughed loudly. "Ha! Melons grow with water and soil, not love. Give me the seeds and I'll pay you handsomely." But Amina refused. "They belong to this land, and they are a blessing, not for greed." The merchant grew angry and late that night sneaked into the garden. He stole a handful of seeds and fled. But as he ran, a sudden storm appeared. The wind howled and lightning flashed. The musk melon vines seemed to come alive, twisting around his legs. He fell and dropped the seeds into a muddy puddle. When he reached home, he planted them anyway, dreaming of gold. Weeks passed, but his garden stayed empty. Not a single seed sprouted. Furious, he dug them up, only to find that they had turned into small gray stones. The Musk Melon Fairy had punished his greed. Meanwhile, in Amina's garden, the vines grew stronger and healthier. The fairy visited again in a dream and whispered, "The greedy will never understand the language of kindness." Amina smiled in her sleep and whispered back, "Thank you, fairy." Years went by. Amina grew older, but she never stopped caring for her garden. Her grandmother passed away peacefully, proud of her granddaughter's kindness. Amina continued the work alone, singing the same soft songs she used to sing as a child. And whenever the night breeze blew through the vines, she felt the presence of the Musk Melon Fairy, watching, smiling, blessing. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of pink and gold, a little girl from the village came running to Amina. "Baji Amina, can I help you in the garden?" Amina smiled and handed her a small watering can. "But remember," the little girl giggled, "I'll try my best." As they worked side by side, the fairy watched from the clouds, her wings glowing like the dawn. She knew her gift had found its purpose, love passing from one heart to another. Years later, when Amina was old and her hair had turned silver, the garden was still full of life. The villagers often came to see her, asking for advice or a piece of her sweet fruit. She always welcomed them with warmth. But one night, when the moon was full and bright, the Musk Melon Fairy appeared one last time. "Amina," she said softly, "your work here is done. It's time for you to rest." "But who will care for the garden now?" Amina closed her eyes peacefully. The next morning, the villagers found her resting under the melon vines, her face calm and smiling. Around her grew dozens of golden melons, glowing brighter than ever. The air was filled with a fragrance so sweet that people said it was heaven's perfume. From that day on, the garden was cared for by the village children, just as Amina had wished. Every year, they held a musk melon festival in her memory, where they shared fruits, stories, and laughter. And every night, when the moonlight touched the vines, a soft, silvery glow spread across the garden, as if the fairy still danced among the leaves, protecting her beloved Amina's gift to the world. And somewhere, in the whisper of the wind and the fragrance of the melons, the fairy's gentle voice could still be heard. Love makes everything grow. Moral: true kindness and care can create miracles. What you give with love always comes back in blessings.